Atma Pramana, account of His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, this millennium avatar's personal experience of our manifestation. Bhagavan's very own Leela, where Bhagavan showcased how a human in the human cognition can have a breakthrough as a superconscious being and manifest all the powers of Paramashiva. Shakshi Pramana, the experience of the millions of disciple devotees, followers all around the world, manifesting the powers of Paramashiva and initiated by Bhagavan. Bhagavan has beautifully said, all of you sit and do the power manifestation for this Chaturmasya as conscious sovereignty as your reality. This is a science, like how you learn in the school colleges for 25 years. Here the science is also listed. How you can experience the superconscious breakthrough, how you were before you were born, how you were after you're going to die. As a superconscious being, if you realize that you will not have even the birth and death cycle, no struggles in life, and you can experience just the ultimate oneness, the conscious sovereignty as your reality, higher intelligence, how you can live as literally an alien on planet Earth, as high intelligence species. Pratyaksha Pramana, supporting the science, supporting, measuring the effect of being in the enlightened state. How to live a living enlightened space, that thoughtless space that is clearly defined here. Just sitting with a cup of coffee or a chocolate milk, we are experiencing the oneness with Paramashiva and manifesting the thoughtless space, which is clearly measured in the balasans, in the devotees, and Bhagavan himself has beautifully showcased how in the science world they have measured the brain and clearly said there is no thoughts. And people spend millions of dollars to experience this. Bhagavan here gives us in such a beautiful, simple space. Let's go to the Shastra Pramana. The scriptural reference for the power of length dimension. Length dimension is what we are all amazed about. If somebody cracks the Mensa, SAT exam or a CAT exam or a JE exam, all these great things that we think is the phenomenal measurement of a human intelligence. But Bhagavan says, how Bhagavan or Ramakrishna Paramahamsar or Ramana Maharshi or Mahapariva, they knew like 18 languages and they simply can chant any of the slokas just listening at one time. That was the heights of the intelligence of enlightened being. And here we are struggling even to study few things and give our exams, which we do study for 10 to 15 years as academics and then give our exams. Here beautifully Bhagavan gives in Shastra Pramana from Shiva Sutra, Sutra 1.19, the length dimension. Shakti Sandhane Shariro Patihi. Bhagavan Paramashiva says, by aiming and fixing the self on Shakti as instruction 1, uniting in oneness with the supreme power, instruction 2, embodiment of that which is cognized in instruction 3, and willed, instruction 4, the very minute you start manifesting the length, breadth, depth, time and space. What does he mean by aiming and fixing the self on Shakti? Again and again, Bhagavan gives us the higher understanding. Conscious sovereignty is how we exist, the existential reality. What we perceive and our dream that we are actually sleeping, but we perceive ourselves walking with our friends and families and doing everything. And it looks so real in the dream. But when we wake up, the same people are there, but then they did not occur in the way they were in the dream. That we understand. Same way Bhagavan says, what you're watching right now, it's not they are gone or something is going to be lost, but they don't occur in the way that we perceive. When Bhagavan was asked the question, how did he perceive when he sees a human in a sabha? He said, I see these kids as lower frequency. I see the adults as some frequency with the blocks, but he sees them as frequency, not as our matter that we perceive. So the whole science, how we can experience the quantum, and we can also perceive everything in the quantum space. As Paramashiva, the quantum space, anything is a matter which is defined as Paramashiva, and everything which is a happening is a Parashakti. Our own happening in our inner space is a Parashakti sitting and manifesting. Our watching this video, listening and contemplating everything that exists. So here he says, aiming and fixing the self, not the identity. Drop the identity. The self, the pure self, who you are on Shakti, merge into the oneness with Paramashiva inside you as conscious sovereignty, uniting in oneness with the supreme power. When you merge into the oneness space with Paramashiva, you become quantum. Then that embodiment, that which is cognized, not just understand, not just desire, but it has to become a cognition. How you cognize colors. For example, you are very sure about the colors. If somebody tells you crow is blue, you will not be able to see it as blue. But actually, when Krishna told Arjuna to see a crow which is blue in color, he saw it in blue. That is the power of cognition when you are in simple integrity, simple obedience with a guru. Can you see? Yes, you can, and you can experience it also. And that is the listening space, how you are connected to your guru. And that which is cognized, that is where the cognition happens. Only if we drop our SDHT, self-doubt, self-denial, self-hatred, that kind of oneness starts happening. I know whatever my guru says is reality. When you go bold on it, you simply manifest anything your guru says as reality. How Bhagavan says, when Vibhudananda Puri tells him to do something, he doesn't think, oh, will I get this darshan and will this happen? He does not think. She has said it, I am experiencing it. There is no gap. That is the simple integrity and simple obedience. And that happens when we drop and surrender our self-doubt, self-denial, self-hatred, all from the illusion and delusion that we have. Drop all that to Bhagwan's lotus feet and simply it will dissolve and bring your awareness back to Paramashiva. And finally, it says willed. What is a will? Static matter, dynamic activity, strategic existence. The what you perceive in your dream, what you want to see, that becomes a reality. What your brother has a dream, what he perceives, that becomes a reality. So even now, even though you feel the others are participating, they are not participating in the context that you are thinking. They are participating in the context. They are in a different way. They realize their cognition and their space. But when you see them, you see as a projection of your understanding, your perception. So that is where each one is dreaming and each one is living in unconscious, such a dangerous zone. Bhagavan says, if you do not use to know what are you made of, it is only danger zone that you will crash and then wake up to understand what is the reality. Instead of that, Bhagavan gives the greatest science of our manifestation. We can manifest and understand the greater science that we can command and simply each one reality. Each one is infinite, and that infinity we can create our reality as we want. And as Bhagavan blesses us as our reality when we merge into that oneness of Paramashiva. Beautifully, Bhagavan gives us the Apta Pramana of Sai Baba. This is from Sai Charitra for chapter 43-44. Here it's clearly said how he knew how Sai Baba was going to leave his body 11 days before, and they were asked to chant the Bhagavad Gitas, and he left his body after the 11th day exactly as he mentioned. If you see the animals, especially the monkeys, you can never find a dead monkey on a street, or when you're playing, the monkey just say has a heart attack. Even though 99% you share the same DNA, they are more intelligent. They go and they know when they are going to die. All the animals, even a rat which eats a poison, goes back to his home and leaves the body only there. A monkey does not never leave the body in front of anybody. Of course, the accidents, apart from the accidents, they only go and stop eating for a few days, few hours, and they leave the body in a very remote place, and immediately the body is taken by other monkeys and taken care by it. No monkey body has ever been found which is dead. Even the The animals are so intelligent. You can never see some dead animal just falling flat and dying unless there is an accident. Each of the animal know when they are going to leave the body. They go and leave the body. To that intelligence we had in our system. Only because we are so diluted and in the delusion, we forget in all the self-doubt, self-denial and self-hatred who we are and what a powerful space we occupy, and fall into the boredom, tiredness, disease and death. Here Bhagavan beautifully explains in Atma Pramana the great scientific understanding how we
When
exist.
people bring food, I do not enjoy the taste of the food. I enjoy the attitude and the love with which the food is brought. That is what makes me joyful. Otherwise, there is no pleasure. Same way when these kids jump dance, I do not enjoy their steps or the physical movements or their dimensions. The bliss they carry, the attitude they carry, the cognition they carry. Swamiji is seeing. I'm dancing for him. That cognition is what I enjoy. Understand that depth. There's a big difference. A man who is length-based will enjoy only the dimensions of the person who is dancing, or the dress of the person who is dancing, or the movements of the person who is dancing. If somebody is based on the breath, they will enjoy the emotions expressed, the attitudes shown, bhava, the art part of it. A length-based person will enjoy the sexual part of it, the physical dimension. The breath-based person will enjoy the art form of it, part of it, the emotion. The depth-based person enjoys the cognition with which they dance. Understand, that is the difference between the length, breadth and depth. I am excited because I am going to make these kids materialize, teleport. Understand, listen carefully. When they move to the length dimension, they can change anything they want. They can actually physically play with things, physically act with things. So even though I am excited about the depth, because I think from the beginning I am a doer. Even in me, when these powers started manifesting, the first question I asked Vibhudananda Puri, actually these powers started manifesting in me much before I even had darshan of Arunagiri Yogeshwara. Arunagiri Yogeshwara gave only the depth related powers. These length related powers have started manifesting in me. Even Vibhudananda Puri and Yogananda Swami, they manifested it, these powers in me. And the first, when it started manifesting, the first question I asked Vibhudananda Puri, what is the use? She got really annoyed because these powers come after 25-30 years of practice, and she was screaming, even after 40 years of tapas, only once in a while when I am in samadhi I can manifest these powers. You fellow, you are casually playing with all these powers and you are asking me what is the use? I said, no, I am not disrespecting, but what's the use? Then she said, whenever she feels that I am very difficult to handle and she can't handle me, she'll send me to somebody. She'll say, go and ask Visari Swami. That's all. Visari Swami, anything you ask, BD only, that's all. He will never answer. He will never open the mouth. Just go on. Get the next one. And he'll pick up the next BD. And it's very difficult to get an answer from him. And it means I know that that question cannot be answered at that moment, or I cannot be handled at that moment. That's all is the answer. I'll just keep quiet. So when I asked this question also, I did not get any answer. They just know I cannot be handled at that moment. And she said, go and ask Visari Swami. Sometimes with Visari Swami it is too funny. Yogi Rapsanath, he will do all that, and I will ask question and he will be smoking. After 3-4 hours I will again ask question. He will be smoking the BD. After 2-3 hours again I will ask the question. Hey, pour the tea in the coconut, that you will have a coconut shell in which you used to drink. Pour the tea in that. That is the answer. That is the answer I will get. Nothing more. Nothing can move. Nothing will. He'll just say, hey, pour the tea. Tea utrade. In very colloquial Tamil. He doesn't speak fluent Tamil, so he'll tell in very colloquial Tamil. Tea utra. Otherwise, somebody else, some other devotees come. He will complain to them. Ayyo, ivana vechittu maaradikum mulla. Ivana kuttu poda pogumbodhu. Means he'll say, in colloquial Tamil, that I can't handle this fellow. When you are going, take this fellow and go. And he'll tell. Only Arunagiri Ishra can solve, if only he was able to handle me. He was able to handle all the questions, or immediately experientially able to give answers. I remember once very clearly, Visari Swami was fanning. He used to have a fan, hand fan, made of palm leaf. And I don't know how many of you were close enough to him. I've been very close enough to him. And he will be sitting and fanning. Once like this, some question I was asking. Finally, he got so fed up. He said, my father has to come directly to answer all your questions and problems. He will come, go. In few days, I had darshan of Arunagiri Ishra. He said it in such a way, only my father can handle you. We all can't handle you. Only my father has to come to handle you, fellow. Only he can solve and answer all your questions. Yes.
Yeah, this is Ram Surat Kumar. How beautiful. Bhagwan as a child was so curious of how he experienced the oneness and manifested the powers. Here, the devotees in the courtyard like to share how they experience their power manifestation, the Balasan's power manifestation.
George. And I'm like, how in the hell does she know my father's first name? Then somebody asked me, when did I graduate from pharmacy school? And I look in this mirror that has this black Yananjana on it, and the numbers are written in the mirror, 1994, and that's exactly when she graduated from pharmacy school. So these experiences of oneness that we have through Shaktipat are expressing themselves in an ability to have knowledge that as yet the world has seen. This kind of
beautiful. Let's go to the instruction for manifesting the power of length. Logical question.
You can see how the Vedic civilization has some phenomenal way of understanding. Mahapariva was only a Bala sannyasi. He did not go to the regular school at all. We think schooling is the most important part of our life and make sure all the kids are going to school. But nor Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Ramana Maharshi was never in the class. He was always playing soccer game. He loved soccer more than going to the class. But all of them, one thing common in all of them, Vivekananda, were Egasanda Gragis. They just knew everything just to download, just by one listening. Mahapariva was 18 languages he knew as how he downloaded just by listening to people talk. To that extent, your brain becomes intelligent. Just to grasp the awareness and attentiveness is so phenomenal. They just grasp everything what is happening on planet Earth just by one. Bhagavan says, I sit in the plane and I see myself what's going on, and now I know the science of aircraft. Just sitting in the plane and knowing the whole science of aircraft, people study for 25-30 years to learn, and then another 10 years to get understanding how to drive a plane. But here Bhagavan just sat once in a plane, understood everything and downloaded everything. Actually, the science works. If you are in conscious sovereignty, you can become the Egasanda Gragi. And we have seen Bhagavan quote everything. When he wanted books from library, he will call all his sannyasi and he'll tell so beautifully, in this row, in this shelf, in the third book, the photo is this in the 15th page, this is the sloka, can you bring it? He already knows everything, but the problem is he asked us to search, and we'll be searching that for few hours, sometimes days, after giving such detail. And then we'll go pick up like couple of books, and then he'll say the one of the books, see, I told you the picture, it's here. And then we'll smile, yes Swamiji. So the amount of information just which they can perceive, Vivekananda took a lot of books, and he went back to the library to return, where they made fun of him. What, he slept on the books, and that's all he did. And he said, okay, now question me. And for hours, they questioned him on all the books, and every answer was absolutely correct. He just downloaded all the books. How do they do it? How does it happen? And how all of them can do the same thing. That's the conscious sovereignty that Bhagavan is giving us, glimpse for us to start living that space, so that we can also become that intelligent being. Even in courtyard, even the balasans, if we give the Mensa page number, and not only the answer the question, they were able to write the question also. And when we put them all on the stage and asked JEA, SAT, CAT, all exams, we kept right for a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old, and simply they were able to answer 40 to 60% correct without knowing a word of what it is. So this is not just some avatars manifesting. These are balasans who was able to grasp the same thing, how they are able to grasp a yoga. When a kid starts a yoga, they start with Sirasasana. Adult might take years to master it, but the kids are just like that in the beautiful space without any of the self-doubt, self-denial, and self-hatred. They just manifest as powers. Now we are going to manifest the powers today. We are very clear. So the fourth thing is willed. I am very clear. I am manifesting this power today. And the length dimension is most fun because you can verify authentically. You can write down huge questions like division, multiplication, subtraction, everything. And just be there, and whatever Bhagavan downloads, write the answer. And then take your calculator and check it whether it is correct. Or you can derive some formulas which you had never known, or you remember something partially in your school and you want to derive the rest of them. Just try out and play with the powers. Bhagavan Paramashiva clearly says 5 senses are utility. They are for only delusion, not for consciousness, intelligence. Paramashiva, who you are, the quantum, you are the greatest space happening. When Ramanuja, the greatest mathematician of our times, who the Britishers were so shocked. When he went and presented the Europe, they were so shocked because he said, I don't know anything. And whatever the Devi is giving me, I'm writing down. She's showing and I'm just copying it. I have no idea what it is. And he was perfect. How did this happen? So the downloading is not just for avatars, but also the great saints, munis, ganas, all of them have downloaded. When Hanuman met Rama, he questioned him in 9 grammars of Sanskrit. He was very clear. He wanted to know who his master was. And such a space Rama is. And not only he answered, he just made Hanuman melt in oneness. That is the space Rama held for Hanuman to become who he is. When he came, he was questioning. Even Vivekananda, you would have already read. He questioned Ramakrishna Paramahamsa whether he knew anything. Not only he knew, he put his hand inside the wall and said, this is the space of Advaita. See, I can just go inside and come back. Everything is liquid, not solid as you perceive. And just touched him. And for 3 days, he didn't know the difference between his hand, the food, and the mouth which is eating. He became quantum. He became Paramashiva. So all these greatest possibilities, because of the parasites which are sitting inside us, the trillions of them, creating this delusion for us, and we believe that is true. When we detox and simply get out of them, we will simply reflect the consciousness as our reality, the conscious sovereignty as our existential reality. Now we are going to entangle with Bhagavan and merge into Bhagavan, become that quantum and answer these questions, and you'll be surprised and shocked to see the answers absolutely correct. Now let's sit straight with the head, neck and spine in a straight line and visualize Paramashiva in your third eye. Absolute unclutching from the outer world. Each one of you who are blessed, who will be here manifesting these powers, be very clear, each one of you are conscious sovereignty, and that is how we are going to exist on planet Earth. Bhagavan is building all of us to experience the ultimate consciousness, giving us the glimpse of the possibility again and again. And unclutch completely from everything that you know as you, the identity, the reasoning, the opinion, judgment, all kinds of things that we have learned from our schools and society. Drop everything to Bhagavan's lotus feet and do the Tyaga of who you are. The very nature of you is conscious sovereignty. There is nothing for us to be learning. It is the very nature who we are, how we were existing before birth, after death, or even deep sleep. Nobody can say I was sad in the deep sleep. We are always happy, blissful, and always in the oneness space. We have to realize that consciously right now. And that is a decision we can make. Intensely chant the Mahavakya and entangle with Bhagavan. Whatever he shows, write down. Don't now bring the mind and say, oh, is it my thought or it is something that Bhagavan is giving as consciousness. No, everything now you have is only consciousness. You don't have thoughts. You have switched off. So hold that powerful space. You are the inheritance, favorite inheritance of the cosmos. Brahmanya Bahuputratam. Remember that. You are Paramashiva, Parashakti, sitting with 25 heads and 75 eyes and 50 hands. You are the ultimate, now experiencing the oneness with Paramashiva, merging yourself. When you chant in such a way that simply you merge into Paramashiva in deep gratitude and surrender and earning that Paramashiva is the reality, and experience that oneness, and whatever appears, write down, and at the end of the cycle we'll verify. Let's start chanting the Mahavakya for the power of length dimension.
Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Vani open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour. Let the Vani open up. Manifest in all of us.
So beautiful. Whatever now in this cycle, please open your eyes. Verify all the details that you have received, even as single as one digit number which we have got it correct. Please circle it and say very clearly how you have manifested. Do not think, oh, it's a guess, I guessed it. We have also studied how much you will score when you guess some paper, and we have failed miserably in our answer papers by guessing, so we all know how much it will be correct, and how when you download, it is not just guessing, but something else happens. That something else is what you're shifting into. The consciousness which starts directly downloading in you as intelligence. You're connected to everything that exists on planet Earth. You can just download any knowledge when you imbibe it. There was no science lab, math lab, and planetarium or anything that we need to study to understand something. We only humbly surrender our identity in front of anything. It can be a mountain, it can be a book, it can be a painting, it can be any organism that we want the information. Just humbly surrender our identity and say, I am in oneness with Paramashiva, oneness with everything. Please download in me whatever you need to show me. And the herbs, that's how they downloaded into the Siddhas. And that's how they were having all the greatest science, not through technology, but conscious sovereignty as their reality, as their gadgets. Not as the Google gadgets, but conscious sovereignty as their gadgets. And simply they knew everything. And that's how the Balasans are trained. And that's how we are trained now to capture the length dimension. All the things which are information is length dimension. All that is the, Bhagavan says, the right eye, Surya Vamsa, the length dimension, Chandra Vamsa, all the art dimension, and completely Krishna, who is the form of art, the ultimate art, and the Subramanya, the third eye, the depth, the dimension, where powerful cognition, just by the cognition, he was able to manifest everything. The greatest science of these great avatars and great understanding, higher intelligence, is how we should exist. And that is the science Bhagavan is giving us. We are failing to understand that it's a science, and we think there's information to feel good, look good, heal, just fix a stop and gap fixes. But it is a science, like how you study becoming a NASA scientist. You have to go to the NASA and get trained and go to the moon. Or you want to be an engineer and you want to develop cars, you have to go to Tesla and learn the whole science. Same way Bhagavan is giving us the science to learn this higher reality, how we came on planet Earth, what is the purpose, and what are we here for? Not just informational download like a gadgets. We are not just the matter. We are conscious sovereignty, higher intelligence, higher species, where the Vimanas flew and all the sculptures happened. And greatest science of greatest siddhas were able to function with the moon and sun, the planets, and go to any loka, create any lokas. That was our powers, and that was why we came down, not to fix some delusion, some problem. That's what Bhagavan is saying. We are deluded into being so small, but we are Paramashiva who can manifest all the reality, all that very, very way we exist. If Bhagavan says, if we can make matter into blood and digest food into blood and digest it, taking the vitamins and functioning our whole system, the microcosm, if we understand that, we'll understand how the macrocosm happens. Just the layers of emotion and thought currents and all this are hiding us the great power, much more than the nuclear power that Bhagavan says. The greatest science, which is available for everybody. Now we'll have one more cycle. Complete everything, complete completion. Completion, the essence of completion is making things redundant, irrelevant, not hiding under the carpet, but irrelevant. It does not make any sense anymore after that. When Sharada Devi was taking care, one day one man came and he had all the bad things that he was doing. He said, I want to get rid of everything. Please help me. And Sharada Devi, how Bhagavan said, the same way, she just gave a beetle life. She didn't even give it in the hand. She just moved it with her toe because she didn't want to even see that person. And the person ate that. And after a decade, he writes in a book that he remembers this instant even happening in his life, that how he existed before that in his life. Imagine the power of oneness, the power of integrity, how we were powerful in the space of oneness. Just an ordinary village girl, she was able to manifest that extraordinary power because of the intelligence that she is conscious serenity. She can just erase and regain that space of original spell, original self that we are. The cloud cannot hide the mountains. The sun, sorry. The sun is the very reason the clouds are even seen. That's what Bhagavan says. The dent in the moon is seen because of the bright light which has reflects and shows it. All our incompletions which are shown because we are Paramashiva, that the incompletion is not us, however bad we are, however horrible our life is. It is just a delusion. It's in your dream. Just shrug it and make it redundant and sit straight with the head, neck and spine in a straight line. Surrender everything to Bhagavan's lotus feet with a deep earning. Bhagavan who has come down as Paramashiva and he says, I myself sit in Kailash courtyard and I'll be there to manifest the powers. And he does it. He really does it. Instead of questioning him, let's question who we are, who is listening to that. The higher reality, we'll become more intelligent. That greatest science for us to be intelligent, to grasp the master. We should become intelligent, not question the master who is the ultimate. So now let's surrender to Bhagavan's lotus feet and start chanting the Mahavakya. Write few questions which is completely very difficult for you and which you have never cracked and never understood. We will simply download, and we have seen Balasense download in the Kailash courtyard. We'll also download and we'll manifest the power of length dimension. Let's melt into Bhagavan, into the quantum space, who we are, the existential reality, and manifest the power of length dimension.
Let Paramashivoham overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eye. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Om Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
So beautiful. Whatever in the 2 cycles, the answer that we have got, please go ahead and share it with the world in tinyurl.com/powermanifestation. Why should I share? I have listened to the satsang, got the initiation, and now I manifested, but why should I share? Everybody is a reflection of you. The one you are seeing in the dream is nothing but your own projection. And you tell the projection that you are Paramashiva, the projection is going to understand. And each of the projection, if you are able to convince, you are holding that Paramashiva space, because you are Paramashiva, you see everybody as Paramashiva. When Krishna was asked by Uddhava, what is that you want to give me as a last essence of everything before you leave? What is that Krishna gave as essence before he left his body? He told Uddhava, whatever you see as Krishna. And that is one thing, you will simply manifest the powers of Paramashiva, the conscious sovereignty as your reality. In deep love and kindness, when we see everybody as Paramashiva, we become that deep kindness, love and Paramashiva. Because Bhagavan is able to see everybody as quantum, is because he lives that. Ramana Maharshi was once holding a bull and he was asking everybody, what do you see? And everybody replied, a bull. And again he asked, what do you see? They said, I look at a bull. And he made a remark to everybody saying that, because you are a bull, so you look at the bull and say it's a bull. It is Arunachala. And he could see only Arunachala in everything. And everybody laughed and said, yes, it is Arunachala. The idea, how we carry ourselves matters, how we cherish our inner space. You want to be the Brahmanya Bahuputratam, or you want to be a matter, calling yourself so and so, so and so far, yourself so and so, so and so far.